VP people.
We are your hosts, Taylor and
Enrico.
This is Unfiltered Conversations
Global.
where we have the conversations that you want to have,
But you don't.
we have the conversations that you should have,
But you don't.
and the conversations that you overall just avoid. So jump in with us today for this episode of
Unfiltered Conversations Global.
Welcome back to Unfiltered Conversation with your host, Taylor, and your host, Eric.
Eric is here.
We're very happy to be with you guys today. We're going to jump right into our topic today that we want to kind of join together on, and that is the topic of kids. Do you have them? Are they worth it? All of that, all of those questions entailing around kids. You know, do they smell bad? Do they cost a lot of money? All of that. Now, I know I have 4 kids. I've kind of rode that train for a while. I got I know how to conduct all these kids, but you are new to this posse. How old is your daughter?
She'll be 2 weeks today.
Today.
Yeah,
today is
today.
2-week anniversary. He's got to get gifts, all sorts of fun stuff. But it's like 2-week anniversary today. This baby still smells like the hospital. I mean,
She's still peeling.
yes, exactly. So tell us a little bit about that journey. Like, did you and your wife decide that, hey, we want to have kids even before you were married? You decided you wanted to? You had that conversation? Tell us what that was like.
Oh, yes. Yeah. When we were dating, that was part of our discussion, that one day we'll have kids. And my wife being an only child, she has never experienced a sibling kind of relationship. Now she desired to have kids so that she can give kids that.
Okay.
And myself from a polygamous family, where like kids are from different mothers. So like what I desired is like, what would it have felt if we were all from the same mother? How would the house be? Not saying that like I don't enjoy my siblings, the one that I have now. But like it's a different feeling because there's a bit of disconnect in quite a lot of things. So those are things we were thinking, and we desired to have kids and raise them together and have this journey in this particular aspect where like it's one father, one mother, that type of relationship. When we were discussing, we talked, I remember like it was just a theory. It was like something that was just there in the air. Like, you know, you can talk about kids. Like, you see, when you're dating, you can have that fantasy of kids.
Yeah, like when you come home from work, they will be sitting there nicely and the mom will say, go to bed, and they will just drop over and go to sleep, and no one ever poops themselves. It's all just wonderful in your mind, right? But now you're home with the baby.
And like, let me just jump straight now into that part of like the pregnancy journey, which was lovely, but very stressful to the lady, because there are episodes like there is the first semester, the second and third. The first one being the first one being horrible, literally.
Yeah, for some people, for sure.
Yeah, for my wife, that was not good. I had like, every time I looked at her, I was like, whoa, what did I do? What have I done now? So I was a bit sympathetic with her and all that. So, but like,
especially towards the end where it's like, it doesn't matter where they are. They are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like your wife is just like, like the last 2 weeks, it's just like, you just need to be in a pool. Like you just need to be swimming because it will just feel good. That's the only time that my wife was like, is when she would get in a pool, because she was huge, you know, like just, and she's not offended by me saying that. Like she literally carried all of her babies straight out of her stomach.
Wow.
Like when you saw her from behind, no idea. And then she turned sideways and you're like, whoa, like what happened? So that last 2 weeks, I mean, we even had you guys over and just chilling at our house, and it's just like, we're at that stage.
And then like sleeping, that's also terrible. Like, you know, they have to sleep on the side you're used to sleeping, like anyhow you want to sleep, but like this time now you are forced to sleep on either the left or the right side. Those are new things.
Yeah.
Sometimes I did help her in sleeping, like sometimes I could push her because you see now the doctors scare you and they tell you like if you sleep like this the kid will lack oxygen and you're worried again. I see.
Oh, it's just like so many people talk to us when we're in this stage of having kids, and it's just like they will scare you so horribly. Like my wife has a rule that before a lady has kids, she won't talk to them about her deliveries, like any of the horror stories. It's like that's not helpful, like
it doesn't.
Just having that plan and going into it together, especially like I think about marriage and the importance of marriage for the woman. Yeah. Like having that partner that will be there with you during the delivery, that will be there for the entire journey, know the suffering that she's gone through. Yeah. And like you said, like appreciate it.
Yes.
Not like you wish you didn't have kids with your wife because she's uncomfortable, but you just know that like I'm part of this. Yeah. Like we are together in having this kid. So yeah, I think
it's beautiful. So like, when they get pregnant is when now you start realizing, oh, this is real now. I'm going to be a father.
Yeah. Yeah, for real.
This happens when you go for those clinics, those scans, the heartbeat.
You hearing that? Yep.
It's a lovely moment. And you realize, wow, now I need to work extra hard. There more mouth to feed now in the house. Mm-hmm. Now, the reality now starts hitting you. It's no longer a theory anymore. Now, this is reality.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to figure out the hospital where the kid will be born. You have to figure out what will be the process. Will be it normal delivery? Will be it CS?
So a lot of this is a lot of work.
Yeah.
So we both kind of grew up, maybe not so much you, but definitely modern, like a lot of our viewers now are growing up in societies where they're like, don't have kids. Look at all these problems that you have to have. You have to pay school fees. You have hospital bills. Kid falls down, they get sick. Then you have to come home from work. You're making less money. Projects are falling behind. And the things that your kids want to do are so boring. Like, so in this journey thus far, you're not articulating that as something that it's like regrettable.
No, not really. But like there's aspect of planning. In Kenya, we normally say, kila mtoto anakuja na sahani yake. Every kid comes with their plate. That's
with their what? Sorry, say it again.
Every kid comes with their plate. So in Swahili is kila mtoto anakuja na sahani yake.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
And many Kenyan parents will say the moment they have a kid, the blessing start trickling in. Those hard jobs that you're not getting, you get calls. No, that has not yet happened to me. I think it's going to happen soon. But that's what people normally say. So, I've thought about finances. That period in the hospital, I didn't have an insurance. I was doing cash payment, which is very expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some of my businesses had not really established to where I want them to be. So I was doing cash. Yeah, there's the financial aspect that comes in. It is not a scary bit to me. It was like more a worrying bit. Like you want to give them the best. This is the first baby. You want to give them the best.
And then the rest of them, they don't get as good.
If it was possible.
This is the last born speaking. I'm the youngest in my sibling lineup. When you get to the end, you have all of the leftover clothes.
Yeah.
For sure. Like you don't get new shoes until they move out of the house. So I mean, you want to give them the best.
So you want to give them the best. Like you don't know what to do. You want to buy the best. Sleeping.
Everything.
You literally want to buy the best everything, the best hospital. If possible, you'll take them to the best hospital. But those are the things that now you start. Well, the reality hits in. You start thinking about them, and the process of the hospital, that was a good process. You realize now you're a father. The wife needs to feed well. There are supplements they have to take on a daily basis, so you have to buy those supplements. That's all finances now, and you need to work extra hard. It's a motivation to work hard. For me, it has always been a motivation for me to work hard, to know that I can be able to provide for my family, give them a comfortable life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now the baby, The D-Day arrives. The baby comes. When you hold that baby for the first time, wow. Now there is where you realize you're a father. I know you had that sweet feeling.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And so just to jump into to our side of the story a little bit, in that we didn't know the gender of our baby.
Yeah.
First, third, and fourth, we had no idea. Second one, we kind of felt like we needed to. But so since I want to say a teenager, like I think it was in middle school.
Yeah.
I had started praying periodically, not with like every 2 weeks at this time I'll pray, but like anytime I thought about it, I'd just ask God that my first kid could be a boy.
Yeah.
Because the way I think about it, it's like if I have multiple kids, one of them is a girl, and some dude is picking on my daughter, or some dude is hitting on my daughter. If I go do something, I go to jail for a long time and I'm a really bad guy.
Yeah.
But if my oldest son understands his duty to protect and to guard in his relative, in his realm, then stuff gets taken care of. And I just tell him, great job. Like, because that is a role that he will carry the rest of his life, whether it's just with his sister, when with his siblings when we die, or whether it's with his wife or his kids, like understanding your role and your authority and as that protector. It's like, oh, so yes. So then, when my firstborn was born, and it was a boy. Oh man, I was so pumped. And I mean, that whole delivery was just chaotic, but there was that joy that just set in right there. And
I had the same line of thought, and I was thinking of more protection, but like I was like, no, I don't want to put myself in that space, because I don't want to get to a point where I want to be happy, whatever happens.
Oh yeah. But pushing back on that one, because some people, it's like, well, what if it's a girl? Then you're gonna not like it. It's like, no, like of course I'm gonna love my daughter. Like that's silly. But you also can't it's okay for me to be disappointed that something that I wanted or thought of or envisioned is not there, but now I have this one.
Yes.
Like both of those things can exist at the same time, that I am super happy that I had a girl first and that I'm disappointed that I didn't have a boy first. Like those both can happen. I didn't have to deal with that. And I had also prayed like, God, if you do that, like, I don't care what comes after. Like just that one. And he did. And so it was.
So for me, my prayer was like, okay, God, you're the one who knows everything. But now technology is good. And when you're talking about finances, I was like, I want to plan myself as well. I want to know the gender. I want to start doing the shopping as early as possible. Those guys who want to buy you gift, I don't want them buying me gifts that are more of a dude, and I have a girl, or maybe gifts of a girl and I have a dude. So you're like, okay, because that time gets confusing. You're like, okay, and I was like, and I told my wife, no, I just have to know the gender. I just have to.
Okay,
know
so your
the
next
gender.
kid, would you be willing to let it be a surprise?
That I might do.
Maybe.
Maybe, because like the first kid, like in our setting, most of the time, like probably you're not very financially stable. Maybe the second kid, you are financially stable. Mostly like to go check the gender, that thing is usually driven by the finances, because you don't want surprises, because you're not going to do the shopping after the baby is here. You do shopping before the baby is here.
And you can let family members know so they can be.
Yeah. So you can let family members know so that whatever they want to give you as a gift, they are able to give you a gift. So that's the bit where like the gender was so important for me. So that
we're finding out
because like those strollers, those car seat, those things are expensive, man. And you're like, okay, I don't want to be surprised with these things.
Okay.
So that was it. So the baby comes, and I was emotional.
Did you cry? Oh, here we go. We are talking to a Kenyan man here on the Unfiltered Conversation, and we're asking him if he cried.
I'm even about to cry now. I was emotional.
It was a good day. It still is a good day. So you get to go home to see her.
It was a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
You've been waiting for this moment for this whole 9 months, and poop. This is the day.
Yeah, poop and then poop. Yeah, I mean it's and even more than the 9 months.
Yeah.
Because even in you getting married to your wife, like a family was part of the image that you had in your mind. It wasn't just the two of you growing old together.
Yes.
And this is not a dog on people who can't have kids.
Yeah.
But it's like that image is in your mind.
Yeah.
And so even the fulfillment of the marriage, or even what you picture, it's all there and it's just coming. And so that hits you in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just appreciate, this is a blessing from God.
Very much so.
God has blessed your marriage. It's like, in the past you can take having kids for granted, but like it's a journey that many people struggle with.
Yeah.
And this has happened, and God has answered your prayer of becoming a parent. Now you are custodian to these beautiful people that God has given you.
Very true. And like I had a friend say it, like you go to the hospital and you have a kid, and then they send you home with a baby.
Yeah.
That you're supposed to take care of. Like, and people can let that freak them out, and they decide, I don't want to have kids because it's like, no, like we're designed by God to be able to handle this. My dad, he gave me excellent advice.
Yeah.
He said that, and it's a simple one. He said that your child's cry, the baby's cry, is specifically designed to annoy you.
True.
Because like you're not supposed to just let that happen.
Yeah.
It's like an alarm. Like you need to take care of something. They're either what he said. They're hungry.
Yeah.
They're lonely.
Yeah.
They're tired, or they're uncomfortable.
True.
Solve those things, and usually the baby will stop. There's obviously circumstances where it doesn't, and so there's two things running in parallel with that. That it's like I'm feeling this because I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
That like my baby's crying. I need to do something.
Yeah.
Like maybe their whole backside is covered in their own stuff.
Yeah.
I need to go take care of that because that's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is. But then on the other side of it, I remember being in the hospital, and in the U.S., in some hospitals, before you leave, you have to, with your child, you have to watch a few videos. And one of those videos is don't shake your baby.
I was told that.
Yeah, there's times where that annoyance, where you don't understand what's wrong. That baby is maybe you go in and the baby has pooped all over themselves, but then you have to take care of that. But then you take care of that, but you're kind of flustered and frustrated.
Yeah.
But your baby can read you, and so that frustration, they pick up on that. So even when the diaper is taken care of, now they're uncomfortable because you're uncomfortable. And they keep crying, and you don't know why, but it has to do with how uncomfortable you are. And they just keep crying. And it's like one of the things that I think is really important as a parent to know is that there's times where you just set the kid down and you walk away. The baby's not actually going to die from crying for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
If you feel yourself getting that super worked up, like, oh, what do I do? You won't stop.
True.
It's just like, okay, I'm going to put you in your crib.
Yeah.
I'm going to step out. I'm going to set an alarm for 5 minutes. And because I need to calm down.
Yeah, true. You really, because sometimes the first night they cried and you're like, wow, is this what I'm going to deal with?
No sleep.
Oh my! But for me, I can say I was lucky. My sister-in-law, she had a doula, and she really came in handy. And she came once. She held that baby, and swaddle her nicely. And for the past few days, we've been sleeping well. We've been sleeping well. And I even told her she should consider becoming a doula because that's a gift.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, okay, because that first night we were awake after every 30 minutes, not knowing what to do. You're a new parent.
Yeah.
And
this to me is why it's so important. Like the Bible talks about older men hanging out with younger men, older women hanging out with younger women.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing that we learned from another parent is that babies will disturb themselves.
Yeah.
They'll be sleeping and then their hand touches their face. It startles. Now they're awake.
Yeah.
And that's the whole reason that you swaddle. Because it keeps everything tight. And so the baby doesn't wake themselves up.
Yeah.
So it's all tight, right? And it feels like they're still in the womb. Yeah. Like it's like, ooh, this is nice.
That's interesting because my wife and I, we didn't agree with the idea of swaddling the baby. We felt like we are suffocating them. Yeah. We're not giving them their space. But like, wow, any parent who's listening to this, that's magic.
Well, but
that's magic.
But also, like, I mean, and there's specific chemical reactions that happen in your body when you are hugged, when you have that pressure. That's why even some people with any sort of there's some people who sleep with weighted blankets, and it's that same type of reaction that happens when you have that pressure on your body that releases. I don't remember what it is. The experts memorize that stuff. I just remember the general fact.
I don't know what that is.
No, but like when you hug someone.
Yeah, true. There's the calm.
I think it's oxytocin that is released. That it's a bonding and a relaxing chemical that's released.
Yeah, because even if someone is upset with you, like your partner, and you hug them, they calm down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and when your kid, when they're 2 years old and they're having a big fit, there's so many times where I can grab my youngest and say, hey, I explain the situation and then I just give her a hug. She still cries, but you can feel her like there's that.
They're like, oh,
it's okay.
It's okay, but like, okay, don't do that again.
Yeah. And then that's what that swaddling does is it really brings them into like, hey, you're still in the womb, you're still safe, you're with mom, it's okay, you can keep sleeping. Yeah, and
true.
So I'm glad your sister-in-law came in and dished that little bit of knowledge out to you.
Bless her. Oh my, if she's listening, bless you.
Yeah,
you are a gift to our family. Yeah. And so, this is now we're going now to the next bit where like now the changing of diapers. the changing of diapers.
You hold up. Another big moment here. So you change diapers.
I do change diapers. It's, that feeling, the mother has been carrying this baby for 9 months. And the only help you can give the mother is to allow her just rest a bit.
Yes.
Because she's a new mom.
Yep.
This is new to her as well. You can't do much because what the baby needs most of the time is milk. But like, what else can you do?
For sure.
What else can you do? You can change the diaper and sometimes like we were advised like for the first at least 6 weeks, like at least the baby to bond with the mom, breastfeeding, which is a good thing. The pediatrician that we had in the U.S., she said that the average worldwide for breastfeeding is like 5 years old. 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's as Americans, it was like, what?
5 years.
But I think with 3 of our kids, we went up to 2.
Oh, 2 years.
Yeah, and because one, it's this is part of parenting is that you learn all these crazy things about how awesome God designed us, like how our bodies are just so in tune. And so one of those is that breastfeeding helps with your kids' neurological development, like their brain is different, not only because like nutrition side of stuff they're getting, but there's so much more stimulation that's happening with their face. There's so many nerve endings on your face. And so when you're breastfeeding, all of those are being stimulated, but then the hands are there and it's skin to skin contact with the moms. Like they're even in Europe, they've started doing it where they call it kangaroo care, where if a kid is born prematurely, they will literally have your family be able to sign up, and if no one does sign up, other people be able to sign up to just hold your baby shirtless, like skin to skin, because it increases outcomes of children's health that much.
I didn't.
Like statistically
that's
provable.
the part. That's the part that I didn't understand about like skin to skin.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that part.
So when you get home as a dad now, it's just like, hey baby, rip off the shirt,
like,
give me that kid.
Let's bond.
For real. Yeah. And it's not just moms either.
Yeah.
Like it's, and one of the other things that we learned is like when you have kids and anybody who gets a baby or a child and is holding them and does the skin to skin can help to raise the baby's body temperature. Like if the baby is cold, and is not responding well, whatever, like your body heat and the neurological interaction that goes there can raise that baby's body temperature.
Yeah.
That's like normal, right?
Yeah.
You know that the mom actually has the ability to lower the baby's body temperature.
Wow.
The breastfeeding mom. Like there's so many things that it's like, you've got to be kidding me.
I think scientists are still learning those
for
kind
sure.
of things.
Yes, absolutely. Scientists are still learning. That's an integral part of science. And when they say we've got it all figured out, it's like, you're lying.
Yeah.
But dude, and having kids, it just blows your mind with how many things are true like that.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. So you've been on this journey for 2 weeks now.
Yeah, for 2 weeks, and I'm enjoying the journey. I'm loving the journey because the more I continue looking at them, the more I want to work hard. That's what I'm doing at this particular time. Yeah. So for me, this is only 2 weeks, but now I'm looking at you you've done this 4 times. 4 times. Has finances ever been an issue?
It's always an issue.
Yeah.
Like I've heard it said, like if you wait till you're financially ready to have kids, you'll never have kids.
True.
Because your standard of living goes up. Well, I want my kids to have this. Well, we don't have that yet. Okay. No, I want my kids to be able to have this. Okay. Like that you begin to raise the bar and it continues to go up, right?
Yeah.
And now that becomes a huge issue.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be.
Yeah,
I'm not saying don't ever think about finances when having kids. I'm just saying it's not the only determining factor.
Yeah.
And God does provide. You figure things out. Like you talked about, when you have kids, your mindset changes on how you are able to, not able, but how engaged you are in providing, how engaged you are in protecting. Like it changes, when you have kids.
Yeah.
And so it's a factor, but it's not the determining factor. And so that has been part of it. We've never, in Kenya, if you have white skin, you're seen as rich. Like
that's true.
Right off the bat, prices change when you go into places, service change, like you're just rich.
Yeah.
And that's not true for us. I'm sure that there's plenty of businessmen and embassies that's true for those people, but it's not true for us. Like both of us grew up and parents didn't make a lot of money.
Yeah.
So it hasn't ever been a part of our lives that we have XYZ.
It's interesting when someone from a different part of the world speaks about finances and say when they were thinking of kids or when they're thinking of life, money is not money is crucial, but they also go through a difficult part of their life not having the money, but they wait upon the Lord, or they work hard, they continue working hard, and just things do happen. Because you see, most Kenyans, sometimes when they see Mzungu, they think, wow, money. These guys are well taken care of. And some of your countries, at least, you've got social help when you have kids and you're making certain amount of money. At least the government can come and help. That's why your taxes are working. But how is it to raise 4 kids, Taylor, back to back?
Well, I'll tell you.
These kids are back to back. They're
it's true. And that was an active.
I'm thinking about the mom, and I'm like, wow, 4 kids.
Yeah, and so that was a choice on us because both of us come from families of 4 kids.
Yeah.
Now, this is, to me, not the only reason that you have multiple kids, that you have more kids, is because you come from a family.
Yeah.
But we decided that we wanted that family. We loved how we had a friend, how that was always, you always had a group. It wasn't just like, oh, I have a friend, you know, like me and my brother or me and my sister.
Yeah.
It was like, no, we've got like a posse. We can set up games, and we can have, if everybody invites a couple of friends and we have a massive game of hide and go seek or whatever it is where the whole neighborhood gets together, right?
Yeah.
We had all of that stuff. And so we both appreciated that.
Yeah.
And the next question, you know, how many kids do you want to have? That's part of the equation when you're getting married and you're talking with your spouse or spouse to be, or even if you're dating and you want to have a real conversation instead of what kind of music do you listen to? Like, those questions matter. But then for us, it was like, we loved the spacing.
Yeah.
We both come from families that it was like 2, 2, 2, 2. There's like 2 years in between each kid. Generally, I mean, it's not, we don't all have the same birthday.
Yeah.
And we liked that because it was a big enough space that there was different life experiences, but it was a small enough space that there was shared life experience. And for me, like, not for me, but the big part I thought about too is like, you do diapers, and then you're done.
Yeah.
Like, there's people that's like, they wait like 8 years.
Yeah.
I have met so many Kenyan families where it's like they have a kid graduating college and they have a kid in diapers. And it's like, mother of pearl. Like, that is that is such a giant range of, like, you've been having kids for 20 years. 20 years. Like, what? So that wasn't what we wanted. We wanted to, like,
I don't think I'll want that.
Yeah, there was certain things that it's like, when I have a stroller and then I sell the stroller, I don't want to have to buy the stroller in another couple of years when we have another kid.
True.
And when we have a crib, I mean, all of our kids grew up in the same crib till we moved to Kenya. Like, we had one crib, and we had one. Like, there's a lot of stuff just shared all the way down the line.
Which is very easy, and that's why the first kid is usually slightly expensive.
Oh yeah.
And then the rest, you're like, okay, I'm just using the same thing.
Yeah, especially if you hand down the clothes.
Yeah. So like, and now this is now the uncomfortable question. Wow. The 4 kids, natural birth or
CS? So this is a huge, and I've heard it said, like, so all of our kids were natural born, no painkillers, anything like that, no C-section.
Yeah.
But it's not like, which is something we intentionally wanted.
Yeah.
But we also kept in our minds that it's like, there's no freaking trophy for this.
Yeah.
Like, if you do this, it's not like you are better off or more recognized.
Yeah.
You know, but we wanted to let the body do what it's supposed to do as much as we could. And so we didn't even have a doctor in the US that we saw. We saw a midwife. And so she did all of our checkups. She did all of the checkups for the kids along the way. During the birth, she was there the entire time. There was no scheduling of the birth, like, hey, you're going to come in this day and you'll have the kid, and if it doesn't happen, and we'll induce you. It was just like, hey, when your body starts saying, hey, this thing needs to come out, call us. Yeah. And then meet us at the hospital. Yeah. And actually, for 2 of our kids, we went in for our normal checkups. Yeah. And one of the times, you know, with what they do, she pulls off the glove and she says, you need to go to the hospital now. Yeah. You are 8 centimeters dilated or whatever, and you need to go there now. Do not stop for coffee. Go straight there. Yeah. And it's like, okay, let's go. You know? So we hopped in the car and drove to the hospital. And so, yes, we did have the natural thing, natural births. Yes, they are hard, you know, but to me, that's not a determining factor to not do it, because it's like, the greatest things in life are difficult. And I'm not saying that having a natural birth is one of the greatest things in life, and thus if you don't have a natural birth, then you haven't achieved that. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that going through that is something. Yeah. Not going through that is also something. Yeah, true. You know, being able to just completely enjoy the joy of the experience of having a kid without any of that pain, that's an experience all its own. Yeah. And having to push and suffer through that pain and then get that reward of your kid, and that is also its own experience. You know, so they're both there, and one is not sinful and the other one is not sinful. Like, that's not at all the thing, but it's hard
Yeah.
Like it's hard on both sides. To the point after our first kid, I very much pushed to not have to be in the delivery room with my wife. Like because I was just like, listen, that whole process is really hard. Really hard. And you are a freaking champion. And one of us needs to not be completely like mind blown and super tired so that we can take care of the kid, even though you're in a hospital and they're taking care of the kid. Like, because man, I'll tell you, one of the quick adoptions that for me happened when our first kid was born. It's like, after the baby's born, sometimes they have to do stuff that your wife it's not comfortable for your wife.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I'm like, I've got a kid now, and this person here is like poking my wife. Like, what are you doing? Like, I was so close to like punching our midwife, who is awesome and like fantastic and a friend.
Yeah.
But it was so crazy and so difficult. And man, I mean, it was just nuts to go through that part of the process. And so then I literally have never had like a moment where I was completely mentally, emotionally exhausted. And it was after, like, they call it the hour of peace or the sacred hour. Like after your kid is born, they leave you alone for an hour. And it's like there's a bunch of stuff that happens before that hour comes and it's crazy. And that time, like when it came to that, I was so wiped. Now, mind you, all of the ladies watching are like, oh, poor you. You didn't have to push this baby through a straw or whatever it is.
True.
Like, I get that. But me, like, as men, we are not designed handling the emotions same way that ladies are.
True.
And so all of these emotions of like, man, my wife is suffering.
Yeah.
Like, this is so very difficult.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm so happy
In
that
fact,
I'm having this kid. I'm so pumped.
Yeah.
But now someone's hurting my wife. And like all of these emotions, it's like bam, 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 bam. Like, it was just like, I literally just put my head down and I was like, I feel like a giant pansy right now because my wife just gave birth to a human being, but I feel like I'm exhausted. And so
because you've gone through quite a lot of emotions.
But you're up with her whenever she's up. She's going through the contractions. You can't sleep when your wife's going through contractions. Like, it's not like, oh yeah, I'm gonna sleep. You go through these contractions. It's like, no, like, we're awake, and she's like, ah. So
and you don't know how it feels like.
No,
you do not know how it feels like.
It's a wonderful thing. But I like I said, when we got married, when we had these kids, after that first kid, I was like, man, I'm fine with not being in the room.
Yeah.
But my wife was like, no, I need you there.
Yeah.
So I was there. But it was, and each one, and this isn't necessarily true for everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But seemingly, I bet statistically, this bears out as well, that consecutive births are easier.
Oh.
So the first birth was very, very hard.
Yeah.
Second birth, not so bad. Third birth, shot out. Mm-hmm. Fourth birth, my wife is holding our 8-pound baby saying, oh, she's so tiny. And this is an 8-pound baby because all of the previous kids were larger. All of their heads were bigger. And so she's holding our little baby, our youngest.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's so baby. And the nurses are like, small, tiny. Yeah. What are you talking about? This baby's 8 pounds. And my wife's like, but she was so easy, like it was.
That's a big baby.
Not for us apparently. Like especially our third. Yeah. Man, he was huge. It's like Bonnie's body figured out. Like, all right, this is how you make babies, and his is a boy, so boom, he's gonna be huge. Oh man, it was crazy. So yeah, we did the natural birth for all of them. Yeah, and it went well, and that's not possible for some people. They encounter difficulties where it's just like, no, this isn't working. And some people, the doctors take over.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Where the doctors say, oh yeah, we need to have a C-section. And if you really dig into the reasoning, it's like, well, the baby's not coming on time. I want to go home.
Yeah, true.
It's like, what the frick? You're getting paid great money.
Yeah,
you
true.
can stay up all night with me because I'm suffering through this. We can just get this baby out and not have any of these other health complications that come from the surgery you want to do.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, and there are some times where like that stuff is absolutely needed. And it's like, it is brilliant that they have figured all of that out and that path is easily available.
Yeah.
And so there's really those kind of three possibilities. It's like, you can do it, you're unable, and then somebody manipulates you. And it's like those three things. And it's like, that's that middle one where somebody manipulates you into it is like very...
Because that's an emotional bit, because like the doctors come there, they tell you like the heartbeat of your baby is going down. Like you start getting worried. You're like, okay, and then they tell you you might lose the baby, and that's a scary bit.
Yeah,
for parents.
Fear is a great motivator.
Yeah. And like, yeah, you see, like you're like, okay, and then you're asking yourself, what's the best solution? Because you're thinking you don't want to lose either.
Yeah,
you don't want to lose either.
Like
now,
that's my wife.
Yeah,
and that's my kid.
Yeah,
what does it take?
Now, yeah. Does
Anything.
It take that?
How much
like,
money?
How much money?
Time?
It's
Boom.
okay.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have that money, I'll figure how I'll get that money.
I can work the rest of my life.
Yeah. So like you're like, okay, they've told you like, okay, now this is it. They call you in. You know, like this is a medical thing, and you do not understand anything. And they're telling you, look at this graph. They're bringing in the ultrasound machine. They're showing you the heart rate, and in reality, you can see the heart going down, and you're like, okay, maybe it's a bad thing, and I don't want to regret any decision.
Yeah.
And then you're like, and you know that time your wife can make the right decision. They're like, okay, what's the best? Okay, because they're in massive pain.
Yeah.
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 I don't know how that feels. Probably. I don't know.
It's like when a guy has the flu, right? Like when we get a little sick, it's equivalent to having a child.
I think.
Comments below. Come on, do you agree?
Is it?
No. It's very much. Haven't you seen that? It's a meme. It's like women giving birth is a small taste of what it's like for a man to have the flu.
Oh my.
Because we turn into giant babies, right? Like so.
Women are great. For me, 2 weeks old. It has been an amazing journey.
Now, you guys, the real question, the hard question to you.
Please, go on.
Natural birth or C-section?
Our discussion while we were going for the medical checkup, clinics, our discussion was for natural birth.
Okay.
Everything was going well. And now this day is here with us. She started the contractions.
The fun contractions.
Oh my days. Painful, man.
Like where it doesn't matter what they're doing. It's like they could be talking mid.
Yeah. As in, because with my wife, I remember that day I didn't sleep because I know I'm a late sleeper. So at 3, I remember it was at 3 a.m. in the morning, she started telling me, I feel it's coming. And like, but the pain is still mild.
Yeah. And what you're supposed to do in that situation is
continue
to rest.
Yeah. But because it was like the first one was after every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And like, I'm like, okay, when I'm a light sleeper and I cannot sleep because they're just going through, I don't know what they're going through.
Yeah.
And they're feeling this pain once in a while, and I cannot understand it. So like at 4, they kept on increasing
in speed.
Yeah,
more frequent.
Frequent. And I'm just my job is, how are you feeling? Because I don't know how she's feeling.
You want some water?
Yeah. What can I do? Can I massage your back?
Yeah.
Can I give you something? No. At 7, now this has started becoming worse. Now the pain threshold has gone high.
She can't talk.
She can't talk.
Like now, where she literally mid-sentence pauses. Like,
yeah. She can't talk now. This is painful. Now, the good thing, we had the number of the doctor. We called the doctor, and the doctor was, come in straight away. And I knew, like, I don't think we're coming back without the baby.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think we're coming back.
So did you have a bag?
Yeah, I took everything. We had packed everything.
Ah, nice.
So she goes to the hospital. She's doing really well at 5 centimeters. The doctor said that's good. Everything was good. We go on, the pain are there. She's being told to walk around the hospital.
Yep. Gravity helps with that whole process.
Yeah, she cannot walk around the hospital. And
who wants to walk when you're in that much pain? Like, go on a walk. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Like this kind of pain? No way.
I'm looking at her and I'm like, there's literally, like, I'm helpless. As in, you're getting to that point where you're very helpless. You're emotional.
Yeah.
You don't know what to do. You don't understand. You know, like, with men, sometimes we like being in control of some of the things. You want to know what's happening. You want to research most of the time. You want to know the timeline. But here, like, I don't know anything.
And you can't do anything.
I can't do anything.
You can just be there for your wife.
Yeah. And the good thing, she has friends. Friends came in.
They came?
Yeah, friends came in.
Okay.
Yeah, friends came in. They were with her. My sister-in-law was there as well.
All right.
Yeah, they were just like talking to her.
Hold on. Like, sister-in-law.
Yeah.
Your wife is an only child, so it's one of your siblings' wife. Okay.
Yeah.
And they're tight.
They're tight.
Okay.
Yeah,
sweet.
they're good. They're good friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So she comes in. Other friends come in. She's encouraged. The nurses are good. The hospital is an amazing hospital. The nurses, the midwives, the gyna, all of them are amazing.
Where'd you guys go again?
Sri Swamirayana.
Okay.
It's like somewhere in Langata.
Okay.
It's not really known. Yeah, because like we were looking at, in the initial stage we had gone with a gyna, but like a brother or a friend of mine advised me it's always good to work with the hospital because like at least the hospital get to know, to understand the problems, and by the time you're delivering, the hospital, they've got your file, they've got your history, so it's easy for them to just like be able to know what were the complications, what's the process that we're taking.
Yeah.
So we are there. So it get at 7 centimeters at 2:30.
2:30?
Yeah, 2:30.
Oh, that's a long road.
Yeah.
This is 12 hours after all of it started.
This is torture, man, for her. This was torture. She was feeling dizzy. Like, she just told me she could not see anyone at that particular time. The pain.
Yeah, it's
the pain was like, because I asked her on the scale of 1 to 10, she was like, it's past 10. And I was okay.
For sure.
Yeah, I do not, I have never had to experience such pain.
Yeah.
So.
Sent the friends away.
So at 5 p.m., it's still at 7. Now the distress now is coming in.
Is she still, how long are her contractions?
The contraction now are frequent after every 1 minute, or it was after every 1 minute, I think.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, the contractions were there. They were frequent. It was painful.
Yeah.
Now, she gets to this particular point now, it's at 5. There's no, like, the centimeters have not increased. And now I'm thinking, okay, now there's distress. The baby heartbeat has started going down. So now I'm like, I'm asking her, do you think you can still try and wait? She's like, no, I can't. And I was like, what decision can I make? The good thing, the hospital, I had like about 4 doctors that were consulting each other. And I had my bro, I had my sister-in-law, I called my mom, I called her mom. So I wanted to make this decision with everyone. I didn't want to make the decision alone. And
well, you did make the decision alone. You wanted to get as much info as you could.
As I could.
You're the only one that could make that decision.
Yeah.
Her mom couldn't call and say, this is what I want you to do. Like, negative.
So, and I was like, this is it. Now, it was normal delivery, but now it can't be. Mm-hmm. We have now to go on the other side of CS.
Yeah. And so there's that moment. See, and this is exactly what I'm talking about with even the gender of your baby. There's that moment where it's like this idea or dream that we had is gone.
Yes.
Now we have this one.
Yes. Now
we are still happy.
Yeah. This is now what hits you, and you can see the suffering, the struggle, and you're like, I don't want her to continue going through this pain.
Yeah.
And I just want this done with.
Especially when it's like someone is telling you there's danger to the baby. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Whatever needs to happen.
And this is your first baby. You're like, okay, every information is very crucial. You're scared, like, oh, okay. So if I wait for longer, and then I was like, okay, I told them, okay, what should I go through? They showed me the scales. I don't understand anything about those scales. Those are medical thing. I'm a lawyer. I don't think I could understand anything. Because I was being shown the scale. They're like, this is on the danger now. She's gotten to this particular point. But that hospital was amazing.
Good.
And
that's a good.
I can even refer guys to that hospital, and those people, anyone who came to that hospital, they were in love with that hospital.
Good.
It's not a very well-known hospital, but
Bado,
but like it was an amazing hospital.
Okay.
So that was the process. So we had to go through the other side, but it has been a beautiful moment for me and encouraging.
So now that you are at the point where, okay, we've had kids. This whole process has gone well. And this is something that, like, in our medias, it does not get talked about. That the fact that you have kids and your life changes. So now, like, we're going to these parties, we're spending our money in this way, we're having this kind of free time. All of that's gone. The only perspective that so many people get is that, wow, all of the things that you loved and the way that you lived is now gone. Life sucks now. All of those things are gone. But as parents, it's like, especially when you're with two-parent households, like, looking at that, it's like, do you agree? Do you agree that, like, your fun is gone now? The life that you were living is gone now. And if that is true, that those things are gone, are you happy about it? Or are you mad? You want that back?
I don't think my life is gone. I think I still do the same thing. But like for me, for these first 2 weeks, I've had to be there because it's a season. It's a new season where, like, she has to heal, and the baby has to get to a certain place where, like, now they can
learn to live outside of the womb.
Learn to live outside. So, like, for me, like, I don't think anything has changed. What has changed is responsibility, more responsibility. Now, like, when I go out, now you have at the back of your mind, you have to know you've got people that need help. Like, I have to go back early enough to help my wife bath the kid. Which is also an interesting thing.
Oh, bathing a kid is...
So I have to go back and do those things. But, like, after that, when she sleeps, I'm good. And everything is just normal. Apart from just a new person, you've got now a permanent resident that has arrived. Mheshimiwa.
And has a bell to ring for service.
Yes.
So that's your perspective. New father, no regrets.
No regrets.
You realize that there's a new, and burden does not mean bad. There's a new burden in your life. There's a new weight that you're carrying. What people don't understand, I think, many times, what the media doesn't want people to, I shouldn't even necessarily the media, probably just the Lord of the Air. If you interpret that verse as being Satan, that he doesn't want us to realize that our fun changes. Our joys shift. Whereas our joy before is delighting in your spouse and living in life as we are now is amplified. Like, look at this kid.
It is.
Like this, and you're not there yet.
But
this kid just crawled. Or this kid just rolled over. Now, a single person, especially like young single person, right? They're going to look at that and be like, well, that's dumb. Like, I walk every day. Big whoop. Nobody's cheering for me. Like, and here's the thing. When I was younger, The things I thought about, like, why do parents even go to these stupid recitals for kids? Their kid's having a band concert and it sucks. So why do you go? Like, that's terrible. I just went to a recital for my kids, and it was like, you're seeing them start from inside your arms, actually inside your wife. Yeah. And now they're doing all this awesome stuff. Awesome, not like compared to Mozart or compared to these Olympians, but awesome from, this is a baby that is growing, and this is a process that I get to watch and be part of.
True. But I think like sometimes, like, when you've not experienced a certain thing in life, you'll tend to dismiss those things.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm getting at.
You tend to dismiss those things.
Before I had kids, like, I did not understand that. Yeah. And how exciting it is to, like, your kid has been practicing XYZ for so long, and then they get up on the stage. Yeah. Number one, that is an accomplishment. Yeah. Even if they get up there and freeze, it's like, no, they went through with it and they're standing on the stage. Oh, yeah. Some people, that's their greatest fear. And that child is facing many people's greatest fear. But then sometimes they're able to carry out the thing that they practice. And it's like, yes. And if you step back from, like, an emotional disconnected point, it's like, you're cheering for a child doing something that's very simple. Why? Yeah. Like, that's no big deal. True. But that's not how parenting is. You're not this disconnected person. You're this person who's fully vested and invested in this kid's life. Yeah, and you're seeing and celebrating these, simple, but awesome things.
Yeah, true. And when you get invested in your family, in your kid's life, I think there's a joy that it brings. There's a joy that comes with that investment, because, like, I already feel joy doing the simple thing that I'm doing, the diaper, the washing, sometimes giving them formula milk, sometimes I'm just having joy in doing those things. Like, you get
the diaper back on, you're
like someone
right. Not crying anymore. I did that. All right.
My friend who's a dad, like, sometimes he told me, like, when you have kids, you'll know the experience. Yep. Like, now I can tell you, but you'll not understand. Is like telling someone, this is how United Kingdom looks like. Like, if they've never gone there, they'll be like, okay, they will imagine. But when they step there, they will understand.
Completely agree. And I think that we should tell them.
Yes.
Some people are like, you won't understand, so I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah.
It's like, no. I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
And hopefully we have a relationship where you trust me.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have that relationship where someone trusts you and they tell you those type of things, or you just don't have that interaction at all, then you only see your small vision, and you only have your experience to go off of. And that I don't want to have kids because then I have to spend my money differently, and I have to spend my time differently, and my emotions are divided. Like, I don't want any of that. Yeah. I mean, you could look at that and say, oh, that's really selfish. And it's also a lack of trust in trusting somebody else's word that this is worth it.
Yeah.
And that there's great joy and there's great reward in it.
Yeah.
And that's, as a parent, like, it's always been foreign to me watching videos, watching movies, watching TV, and hearing people complain about kids. Even as a kid, I'm like, oh, that's weird. My parents aren't like that. Like, my dad and mom would come to all my soccer games. And
true.
Like, we're tough. We're kids. We're punks. We're dirty. We yell. We're disobedient. Like, there's difficulty, but we have lots of fun as a family, you know? And so I've never
There's joy. There's a lot of joy. And that's why you see, for me, who's been in a polygamous family, who's not had that kind of joy, I crave for it.
Yeah, man.
I yearn for that. You understand?
Yeah.
I yearn for it. Like, I do not know how, like, just being friends with your sibling feels like.
Yeah. And there's one of the things that my wife is really good at, like, combating my perspective.
Yeah.
And just, like, helping me to reset. And there was one time I was like, I just want to, you can do this sleep training with your kids, right? Where you just, like, leave them in the room and have them be quiet, and they eventually learn how to sleep on their own, so you can put them down, they go to sleep. And my wife was totally not down with that at all. Again, it's not a judgment on people who are whatever. Like, but she said, when we get old, we will not regret having held our kids more often and rocked them to sleep and whispered in their ears and prayed over them. And I was like, oh, that's a good point. All right, I'm going with that. I'll just go with that. You know, because really, like, that transition, especially early on from not having kids, to having kids, and wanting to do those things. Like, okay, if I can put him down at 8 o'clock, then I can go do this, X, Y, Z. No, it's 9:45, and he just keeps waking himself up. And no, I'm just going to keep holding him, you know? And those perspectives, I think, are so important for people to hear and know. And I'm super excited later on when we get people on here. And sharing and discussing, like, okay, what are your biggest fears with having kids? Well, I didn't have a good dad, or my mom was terrible, or I didn't have either of my parents, or I had parents and they were terrible, or and I don't know how to do it, and all these things. It's like I had awesome parents. I was still scared taking a kid home. Like, there's a lot of crap you can mess up. There's not a user manual with a troubleshooting section. And,
true.
And so, I think it's so important that we have these conversations, not only together, but with other people.
With other people.
That kids are fantastic and kids are hard. But so is being in any relationship. You want to date? Oh, that can be hard. There's lots of rejection. There's lots of crazy things. So I just want to push back. Like, again, we have so many times where we have awesome conversations. And they have to end. True. They have to come to that point where it's like, okay.
True.
Got to wrap it up.
There's a lot that we can talk about.
My wife is calling.
I've
got to go. Like, whatever it is, like, that happens.
But like, in conclusion, kids are beautiful.
And they're hard. And they're fantastic.
True.
Very much so. So we've hoped that you guys today have enjoyed this episode of Unfiltered Conversation. We'd love to hear some of your input. There's some crazy stuff maybe that you have heard today that you're like, I don't know about that, or whatever. Feel free to comment on it. Feel free to engage. I heard this approach once that if you have something really terrible to say, go ahead and say it. We literally have people that are ready and available to delete your comments quickly so that we don't have to listen to this trash. Like, it's very ready and available. So if you want to do it, we'll delete it.
It's okay.
But having some of those good conversations even below, there can be productivity in comment sections. It doesn't have to be all mudslinging and terror. So we encourage you, comment below, ask somebody else. Maybe this has spurred you to talk with your significant person. Like, hey, we've kind of been hanging out for a couple months. Do you want kids? If you're a hard no on that and I'm a hard yes, maybe we should just stop investing in this, or maybe I can change your mind, or whatever. Like, just getting into those conversations. So we hope that this episode of Unfiltered Conversation has been good. Want to thank Eric, the brand new father, for being willing to share some of these brand new experiences with everybody today. So
an amazing time. And please don't hesitate to comment any topic that you want us to cover. Please just go down there, write to us. We'll be able to see which one has quite a lot of people that we should talk about, and we'll go ahead and talk about any topic that you want us to talk about. Thank you very much for just supporting us by watching this video.
For sure.
All
right. Tutachakiane.
Tutaonana. You need to learn your Swahili. Now someday. You're here. You need to learn your Swahili now. We will have to talk about that some other time.